Hari Om. Hari Om, Saritha Ji. Okay, we'll start with Omkar. Hands in Dhyan Mudra. Keep it, keep the wrist on your knees. Gently close your eyes. Adopt a smile on your face. Relax your facial muscles. Keep breathing normally. Relax your neck, shoulders, the left hand from left shoulder to left fingertip, right hand from right shoulder to right fingertips. Relax your spine, upper back to tailbone. Relax your throat muscles, chest muscles. Relax your abdomen, waist, side, left side, right side. Relax your hips. Relax the left leg from left hip to the left toes. Relax the right leg, right hip to the right toes. Whole body is relaxed from head to toes, toes to head. We will chant 3 Omkars. Inhale deeply. Take your palms, cover your eyes. Join both your palms. Warm up. Open your eyes slowly. Open your hands. Hari Om. What a beautiful day. Lovely to see all of you. Yeah, today, welcome back, Minnie ma'am. Lovely to see you. Lovely. Okay. So today we have a very beautiful guest, Saritha Ji. I just Googled and somehow I ended up in a podcast called Spiritual Vegan. Then I became curious who is the spiritual vegan. And when I researched more on her profile, I was surprised that she is in Dubai and she is a Vedanta teacher for 26 years. She is into this and she is a senior disciple of Swami Parthasarathy from Vedanta Academy. And I was so touched and instantly I connected on Instagram saying, I'm a fellow yoga teacher and I'm a vegan and I would love to talk to you. And she's so kind. Immediately she shared her number and we spoke. This was a year ago. And now I'm truly fortunate. She is coming to Abu Dhabi, she and her husband, Sreedharan sir, um, twice in a month, and they are conducting Atma Bodha classes. I will share the details, and I've attended one session in the Abu Dhabi city, and the next session is coming Sunday. So I feel truly, truly blessed to cross my paths with them. So I'm truly honored. I'm so happy for all of us to have this opportunity to interact with such a senior member. Uh, so grateful to you, Sarita ji, for your time. Welcome. Over to you, Sarita ji. You have to unmute. Yeah.
Now, everybody are able to hear me?
Yes.
Hari Om, and thank you, Raji, for giving such a beautiful introduction. It's simple and crisp, I should say that. So, can we have it in a
Yeah.
grid gallery? I put myself in a gallery view. So, a little short explanation about my background. I got introduced to Vedanta from a very early age to my parents, and there's a place called Vedanta Academy where they train Swami Parthasarathy Ji trains youngsters between the age group of 16 and 30 on the ancient wisdom of Vedanta. We all are Indians, everyone are familiar with this word Vedanta or the scriptures. So he teaches the scriptures in a liberal environment. When I say liberal environment, there are disciplines, there are schedule, there is no weekends or vacation for the 3 years. It's a 3-year residential course. Our day starts at 4 a.m. in the morning and goes till 9 in the night. It may sound a little bit regimental, but the atmosphere and the whole activities is packed in such a way that you get an opportunity to discipline yourself. So it's a totally a self-discipline environment. I got opportunity to study there, and I really, really thank my parents for that. That was from 1997 till 2002. I studied for like 5 years there. No weekends, no vacations, 4 a.m. till 9 p.m. It may sound a bit too much. Is it like a military rule? Not really, but never stepped out of the Vedanta Academy, even though I was like 16 and a half when I joined the Vedanta Academy. So I'm really fortunate to have that experience. And the most beautiful part is the concept, the true concept of Vedanta, which is about no do's and don'ts, is being highlighted and demonstrated in the Vedanta Academy. As youngsters, nobody would like to have any do's and don'ts, or even as adults. We may listen, or adults may hear out of respect, may not question back, but a younger generation would not take things for granted. They will always like to question why. Why should I prostrate? Why should I put a tilak? Why should I break a coconut? Why should I take blessings of our elders or whatever its activities are? So that was an environment where the logical meaning or the true philosophy was being taught. So that was a little brief about where I studied. And having studied the 3-year course, I continued for another 2 years and dedicated my life towards study and then teaching of the subject, Vedanta. And myself and my husband, we both have studied at the Vedanta Academy, and Swamiji arranged our marriage, I should say. It's a divine marriage. And we both continue to be in the path of teaching and propagation. And we head the Vedanta centers, Middle East. So we are based in Dubai, and we visit Abu Dhabi. We were visiting Abu Dhabi every week, but now we are trying to resume as regular as possible. That's how I connected with Raji. And another interesting part is I'm also a vegan, and studied nutrition science through Cornell and authored a cookbook. So I'm a whole food plant-based nutritionist also. So the study never ends, or we should always be a student, was something that I learned from my guru, which I always continue to live up to that example. He says, nobody can beat me as a student. He's 97 now. And thank you so much, being a teacher for a guru for over so many years. But when he says that nobody can beat me as a guru, that was a real shocking statement for me too. So that was like my mind impression. So never stop to learn, never stop to think that you know. We always think that we know it. But when we contemplate or we get confronted with a little bit of humiliation, that's when we understand that we know very little. So that was always been a thought at the back of my mind. There's always somebody knows a little more. So the study never stops. So that's like a little theme that we continue. People ask, like, you all are studied for so long. What do you study? What do you read? You must be well informed of all the text or the subject. Yeah, we are trying to understand what we have heard. That understanding and becoming, there's a huge gap. We must have heard it. We could be like very good computer who has the complete information, but have we really become it? Have we really put it into practice? Is a question that we need to ask ourselves. So the path to becoming, from knowing to becoming, is a lifetime. Or Bahunam Janmanam, says the Gita. Like, we keep repeating our lives only to become better, only to reach to the perfection. So that is a very simpler way of the scriptures, why are we born again and again, or many births, is to become better or to reach the perfection. So that was a little short brief about background of what is Vedanta and Vedanta Academy and my journey towards a vegan and how I got connected with Raji and Sharon. There seems to be so many things connected, but we all are connected that way. So today's topic is a very interesting topic of yoga for the mind. We all are familiar with the word yoga, and the little understanding that we have attributed to is that yoga is only physical. I'm talking about general masses. Yoga is only physical. The physical part of the yoga is the asana, pranayama, bandha, and mudras. We all are familiar with those terms and words. But what is the yoga, the true meaning of yoga, what it conveys in the scriptures? It's actually given out in the scriptures. There's karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, and then the hatha yoga. The hatha yoga is the physical part of it. That is the asana, pranayama, bandha, and mudra. Well, even though it's all connected with our thoughts and mind and the jnana yoga, but it seems to be something that we all are gravitated only to the asana part and leaving aside the real philosophy behind it, where we need to understand the philosophy so that the asana becomes a part of our, like a activity in a day's activity. So the yoga for the mind is something like yoga for the body is asana, pranayama, bandha, and mudra. The yoga for the body is exhaustion of your desires. Simpler way, we all like short sentences, short summaries for us to remember, right? So what is yoga for the mind? Exhaustion of desires. All the scriptures, all the religions, all the faiths have spoken that desires are the barrier between you and God. When they said that desires are the barrier between you and God, it actually sounds like desire is the real devil. It's not allowing us to reach to the godhood or the state of godhood, which we originally are. So, how do we handle that? How do we make use of our own desires for our betterment? That's what the philosophies are. Make use of what we are putting into our stimuli so that that stimuli in turn is of help to us. That's what the whole nutrition science is, what we all are doing about veganism, right? It's all about we check what we put into our system so that that input is of help to us rather than deterrent to us. So the same way, the yoga for the mind is exhaustion of desires. Now let's understand a little bit about what is mind. We all are familiar with this word, manas and buddhi, mind and intellect. The organization that we have registered in UAE is under the name of Mind and Intellect, Manas and Buddhi, because we are in a land where, we need to respect the rules of the place. So if we say Vedanta, may not be communicating the message. So we are under the name of Mind and Intellect. Mind is a seat of emotions, likes and dislikes, desires, impulses, irrational thinking. In a simpler way to say. What is intellect then? If mind is only something which is pulling us down, is there something that is going to come to rescue to us? Only human beings have this faculty called intellect, the buddhi, which differentiates us from an animal or a plant. How are you different from an animal or a plant? It's the intellect, the buddhi, which differentiates us. And the buddhi is the rational, the decision-making, a judging capacity, a capacity to step back and think, reflect. So that's buddhi. And each of us have it. It's like a birthday gift we are given. When you're born with that. But after a certain age, that is like at the age of 7, we all are familiar with this Upanayanam ceremony. We all are familiar with that. So it's almost suggested that after the certain age, the intellect starts to kindle. It's like that is the reason they divinize the thought of the intellect start getting kindled, and they have this Upanayanam ceremony. So Hinduism divinized every aspect of our life. They divinized death, they divinized marriage, they divinized every aspect of our life. Similarly, the kindling of your intellect was divinized. So intellect is again something that you need to develop, even though you're born with that faculty called intellect. And mind is something that naturally it will flow to us. The impulses of your mind, the likes and dislikes of a mind. You see a child which is a year or so starts to express its dislike or express its strong likes. We all have seen that, right? Or we have experienced that. So when a mind which is full of likes and dislikes and desires or impulses is expressing itself, almost it looks like we are under the mercy of it if unattended to. If unattended to. So the only solace or only grace that we as human beings have is not to fall a victim to our mind. Mind's whims and fancies. You must have heard the sentence. The mind is constantly doing its whims and fancies. So intellect is something which comes to your rescue, which needs to be developed. Like a simple thing, like you want to develop a hand, a muscle in your hand. You need to do weights in that hand. If you do weights in the right hand, will your left hand muscle develop? Impossible. You have to do right hand muscle to develop. You need to lift the weights in right hand. It's common sense, right? Same thing. If you want your intellect to develop, your intellect to be sharp, your intellect to be alert, so that you don't become a victim of your mind games, that's self-effort. That's the contemplation one needs to do. It's a constant reflection on what is real, what is unreal. Nitya Anitya Viveka Vichara, says the scriptures, Adi Shankaraji's works. Nitya Anitya Viveka Vichara, a constant contemplation on what is real and what is not real. Now that could apply to something which on a day-to-day basis also, right? Now, how are we as vegans, this is a group of few vegans who are here, or yogis or yoga, people are following the path of yoga. You're constantly keeping your laziness or thought of laziness out and putting yourself on the mat, right? Otherwise, you will not be here in the classroom. So the constant reflection on what is real and what is not real, what is going to be beneficial for you and what is not going to be beneficial for you is a simpler way of looking at developing our intellect. So that is a brief description about what is the yoga for the mind. Is it some asanas we need to do? Is it some breathing exercises we need to do? No. Kindle your thoughts of development of the intellect. That's the yoga for the mind. Actually, it's very simple. The scriptures are all simplified, and my voice is not clear for everybody.
Little bit low, right? Or is it okay? For me, it was low. You
It's
can
fine.
increase.
It's
It's
okay.
fine.
Slightly
Okay,
low.
Now,
slightly. Huh. You can increase the microphone.
actually, it's on full volume.
Okay, okay.
Fine now.
This is better. This is better.
Yeah, it's better.
That's better. Okay. So rising above your desires is a simple definition of yoga for the mind, a simple solution for the yoga for the mind. Now, one of the easy ways for a self-check on a day-to-day basis, let's analyze that apart, a bit of it. So we are in contact with the world the moment we get up in the morning till we sleep in the night. And the routine continues every day. So how do we control what kind of inputs or the stimuli that is going into our thoughts? Both mind and intellect are thoughts. Irrational is mind, rational is intellect. So how do we control the world's impressions in our thoughts? A simplified method has been given. That is, check the stimuli that is entering into your system. For a good health, we check our ingredients, right? The whole effort is to check our ingredients, what is going into your mouth. So here, how do we handle our desires? Is check the stimuli. Work on the stimuli, what is going on, going into our thoughts. Now, is it going to be something like a impractical thing that every day, these are all the thoughts that is going on in my mind? Is it a practical thing? No, it's not. It's not practical to really check every thought that is going on, every aspect of the world that is going on. No. The simple way what they have suggested is that the stimuli that you take in does three things in our system. Three things, three different aspects it's doing. When you take in a stimuli, like you see an audio visual scene or a news or a situation on a television, what's happening? You're seeing a visual impact. You're taking in a receipt of a stimuli. Then the receipt has made a reaction in your thoughts. A receipt that is taken in has done a reaction in your thoughts. Then that reaction is making you respond to the world. Three aspects are going in, transaction of three different aspects for every receipt that you take in. Imagine you open a newspaper and you see there's a classical music concert happening in your town. And you see that and you flip the page. You yawn looking at it because how do you yawn? What is the reason behind that? Can anybody tell that? You saw an advertisement about a classical music which is happening in your town. You yawned looking at it and you tried to flip over. What could be the reason for that?
Disinterest,
Disinterest, correct.
not interested.
Not interested. So that
Or one more ad coming up.
yeah, that one more ad thought will come because of your disinterest in the classical music. Doesn't matter about who's a presenter, who's an artist. It is your disinterest or lack of desire in classical music makes you yawn or not show interest or flip the page. Right? You agree to that. Then you turn and there's something else or a sale of a handbag or anything it could be, could interest you and make you take an immediate effect on that. Receipt, reaction, response. These three things are happening on something else which interests you or which is your desire. Are you all getting what I'm saying? So receipt, reaction, and response are connected strongly with the desires that you hold, strongly with the vasanas. The Sanskrit word for your origin of desires is called vasanas. The core in which you are made up of. Each individual in philosophical terms is called nothing but a bundle of vasanas. Like Raji is nothing but a bundle of vasanas. I am nothing but a bundle of vasanas. Means the desires, which is making us contact the world and also the world to enter our stimuli. Something which doesn't interest you, is not a part of your desire, doesn't bother you at that moment. But is that an end to it? No, the danger to that is the stimuli are constantly entering our thoughts. But one could get influenced and develop more desires. Your friend may be sitting next to you and watches that the advert. Oh, the singer is coming to the town. He's a fascinating performer. Have you been to that concert? If your friend is trying to explain all that, you may look at her response and the way she's reacting the whole advertisement. You may feel, maybe I'll come along and try it out. Why not? So others' desires influence us, and then in the process, you may go along with your friend, you may start liking the whole event and develop a new set of desires of attending these concerts. Now we're not analyzing right or wrong. I'm only explaining about how a stimuli has the receipt, reaction, and response. Now, how is it connected to the desires also? I tried to explain to you that. Everything, the root cause is the desires. Now, just with that bundle of desires that you're born with, will it end? It doesn't end. the chances of it increasing is very high, because every day, in a day, we entertain 80,000 thoughts. That's a scientific analysis which has been done. In that, 80% are repetitive. 80,000 thoughts as an individual, we all entertain every day. 80% are repetitive. It's frightening, isn't it? 80,000? Did I actually entertain consciously 80,000? Unconsciously? Keep all that in the account. So we need to be really cautious about what we are entertaining, because your next set of activities or life could be led to what you are entertaining or what you have been taking in. This is a very, very important aspect which is being highlighted about. You know, as children, as parents, you are all the time watching, or you put a watchful eye on the children's, what they watch, what music they hear, what kind of friends they move with. You all do that, right? We all have gone through that. As our parents are always watching what we are speaking, right? What is all that? It's a stimuli. We are always checking about what kind of programs the children are watching, because they get influenced. You think as adults we are not influenced? The influence continues. It's just that there is no parent around you to constantly check. But you have the intellect. The intellect in us has to be constantly awake to guide us. So if your intellect is saying, no, this is another interest, I don't mind going and hearing this concept. Now, is this an interest that I would like to incorporate in my life? Is it a desire that is going to be beneficial for me now and in the future? If it is not something that I would like to start this, a stream of desires, then you put an end to it. That's the check one needs to do. There are many interests I also have independently, because I am from a family where my mother, grandmother, my aunts, and everybody are very creative, very, very creative people. So naturally, art or craft flows to me. And many times my husband says, like, why don't you go and take it up if you're that interested? I said, there is an end that I need to keep to what all I pursue. I know, I'm sure if we learn the art, I would do well. So direct your desires, give a form to your desires, give an aim to your desires, give an ambition to your desires, and fix a goal. Fix smaller relative goals. And then focus all your attention. A person who's obese wants to lose weight is an ultimate goal. For them, it's an ultimate goal. Now, having fixed that ultimate goal, they need to fix smaller goals. That is, first, I will wake up early. Second, I would cut down all the dissipation of activities. That is, junk food, going out with friends and lazing, etc. All that smaller goals will help the person reach the ultimate goal of them losing weight. So every aspect of their efforts are leading towards that ultimate desire of exhaustion of that desire of, I want to lose weight, let me attend to it. So they are attending on to that desire. So how do you overcome? How do you handle your desires? First, check the stimuli that you're taking in. What are the kind of programs we watch? What are the kind of news we hear? Because everything that we are hearing is making some form of an impression in our thoughts. It may not impact it at this moment, but a situation comes in, you'll say, I did see a very gory situation, a gory scene. It really bothered me. It really disturbed me. So imagine you cut that. You fix your free time, or you fix your learning time towards what kind of a learning I take in, what kind of a programs I see, what kind of a teacher I fix, what kind of a friends I meet. So the stimuli that you're taking in the form of thoughts, the kind of visual images, the kind of reading that you do, the books that you choose, you're trying to arrest the damages there. Then you're seeing what are the kind of reaction it is giving to you. Is it kindling your thoughts? Then proceed to the third part, that is a response. What kind of a response is it giving me? That's the kind of analysis you need to do. So you're keeping your intellect, your buddhi alert. You're not falling a victim to your mind. Mind is constantly trying to do its duty. We can't blame the mind. That's the nature of the mind. We need to understand the nature of the mind. It has its like, I don't feel like going to yoga today. But you fixed this teacher, right? No. Today I don't feel like going. That's the mind. Likes and dislikes. The mind will constantly throw its likes and dislikes. And the nature of the mind is astira and chanchala. It'll never, it's equated to a monkey, which is, you can never see a monkey's cage small. It's always very big in a jungle, not a jungle, in a zoo, right? It needs that kind. It can never be in one place because of its nature. So our mind is equated to a monkey's mind, which is astira and chanchala. It can never remain in a place. So can we just allow it to function the way it is? Try doing it. The damages are so severe that you really need guidance. You will regret following the mind alone. So mind is equated to a child, an adult is equated to an adult. Sorry, mind is adult. So you'll never leave your home to a child. You always need an adult to overlook. Exactly like that. So firstly, understand the nature of the mind. Understand your desires, analyze them. Take in the knowledge of the scriptural knowledge are guiding us to always constantly keep on a track. Use your intellect. The intake of knowledge will help us to not fall a victim to our minds and whims and fancies. Now, having taken the knowledge that contemplation is a very crucial aspect. Okay, I've been hearing the scriptures or the classes for many years. It didn't make much difference to me. If somebody says that, the answer to it is you have not spent enough time and effort in thinking and contemplating on the information that you have taken in. You could be a very good parrot explaining whatever you heard, expressing whatever you heard. But it may not make much difference to you because of lack of contemplation. Have you thought about what you heard? You all have heard in this half an hour so much of information about desires, the nature of the mind, stimuli, response, reaction, all that concept. If you do not think over all these concepts, in a matter of a day or so, it will vanish from our thoughts. Now, how do you allow these thoughts to remain in your mind, remain in your thoughts? How do you help all this? It's the contemplation, the reflection that will help. Again and again, lifting the weights only will help you to develop the muscle. Not one-time lifting. Yeah, I lifted weights. When? 1 month ago. But my muscle didn't develop. Raji, can you help me? Who can help? Nobody can help you. You lifted weights 1 month ago. 20 minutes I kept lifting. Nothing has happened. Sounds a bit silly. But that's exactly we are doing to our mind and intellect. If you will not put in effort in reflection and contemplation, the knowledge which is being taken in will not do much good to you. You will be able to give a nice lecture. You know how harmful it is to eat animal milk, animal products. Very good lecture you will give, and somebody turns and looks back and asks you, "Are you a vegan?" No, 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 I'm not a vegan. It's not practical. But you seem to give so much of, you seem to have a lot of information on it. Yeah, yeah, of course. I've heard so much. I've attended so many lectures. But you are where you are. That's all. So in a simple way, what is a yoga for the mind, Raji? You're able to hear me?
Yeah.
What is a yoga for
I
the mind? One
I
line.
am exhaustion of desires.
Exhaustion of desires, handling your desires, giving a direction to your desires, give a ambition, goal, and then work backwards. Work backwards. If a guest is coming to your house, you fix a menu, right? Or you just randomly do one Mexican, one South Indian. Will you do that? No, nobody will do it. It's complicated. So we'll fix a menu. And then what do? You work backwards from soaking, buying provisions, etc., and then leading towards the meal preparation and inviting your guest, etc. Exactly the same way. Fix a goal and work backwards. Now, what is the thing I need to do now? Check on the stimuli that you're taking in. Observe what are the kind of desires you are entertaining. Because as you think, so you become. We have heard this sentence from childhood. Everybody keeps telling, be careful what you're thinking. Be observant about what kind of desires you entertain. If your child comes back and tells you, I feel like punching this fellow, he was so rude to me, what will a parent tell? Yes, I think it's a good idea. I will also come to help you punch. No, a parent will caution the child and will try to educate the child. Never entertain a thought like this. However, another person is rude or mean to you, right? So work backwards. Fix the aim. Handle your desires. Handle the activities which is going on in your day. The finer your vasanas, the finer your expression will be. A person who knows a language very well, can he do abusive? Can you speak abusive language? Impossible. Can he speak a broken language? No. They've learned the finesse of speaking the language so well. Exactly like that. Once you fine-tune your desires, you'll never be able to fall back. That's the might of handling your desires. Many people say that you know, in a city like Dubai, it's total bling. Dubai is called like a bling, right? Everybody knows it's a city of bling. How do you maintain all these kind of sattvic life? And I'm like, how does it matter which city you're in? You can be in Himalayas and be totally business minded. You can say, I think there's no cafeteria here. Let me open a cafeteria. Right? There's a lot of footfall of yogis coming here. I can become like a brand for Himalayas. Doesn't matter where you are because your desires are constantly maneuvering you. A person who's a businessman can sell ice in Iceland. Ice in Iceland. That's how his business vasanas are, business desires are. It'll propel them to work. It'll propel them to the world. Nothing wrong with business, but that's how the nature of a desire is. So, yoga of mind is manage your desire, exhaust your desires. Exhausting your desires is like the ultimate thing. Only upon exhausting your desires, we are in that state of the highest, that is the meditation. What we all are exposed to now is mind calming. Meditation is single pointed thought. Concentrated concentration in a simplified way, meditation is. If you say I'm meditating for 1 hour, it's a joke. I'm sorry to say that. Because the literal meaning of meditation is concentrated concentration. We are struggling for general concentration. It'll quieten your mind because we are trying to remove our thoughts. Definitely it'll quieten your mind. That's what I said. What we are presently doing, meditation, what we call it, is mind relaxation. You're in a flux of activities. You're in your workplace, or you're running your family, or in the midst of a lot of stressful things, challenges, and you come down and consciously trying to remove those thoughts. Naturally, your mind comes to a calm state. You're right. I don't dispute that. But the true meaning of meditation is concentrated concentration. When can a person have that kind of a state of concentrated concentration? When their desires are minimal. Minimal means that desire is only for self-realization. The goal is so sharp, no deviation, no distraction. That's when a person is fit to sit in a seat of meditation. Means your desires are very minimal. The world is not pulling you. The world of desires is not pulling you. The moment we close for meditation, what is it? All the thoughts come. Maximum thoughts come. Right? Oh, that fellow has to lend me money. I have switched on the cooker. Oh, that fellow is ringing the bell. So many things, so many things keep coming up in our thoughts. So, again, concluding in a simpler way, handle your desires, handle the stimuli that is going in, check the reaction and response that is happening to you. If a certain stimuli that is giving an unpleasant reaction, unpleasant response, try and remove that kind of stimuli. Try and delete that kind of stimuli from allowing it to come into our thoughts. That control, I'm sure we all have. I remember seeing a lady will be sitting and watching a TV program every day, and they'll be crying and crying and crying. I looked at her one day and second day. Why are you suffering like this? She's like, there's so much of suffering in their life, so much of difficulties in their life. And she was so strong that whatever they're seeing in the television is truth. I had to try to explain to her, this is only a series of imagination. Nobody has such kind of suffering in the life. If such kind of suffering, they'll collapse. They seem to look actually fit and fine and healthy. It's just that an enact is being done. What we are doing, we have created a reality of what we are seeing. And sitting and crying and crying and crying. Receipt, reaction, response are damaged, full damaged, and doing it every day. At least 5 days a week, the TV series come. So 5 days a week, 5 days every week, how much of damage it has done to that person? It has made the person extremely weak in emotions. Sometimes that lady would have stepped back and say, how ridiculous it is. The production company is making maximum money. Advertisement people are making good money. Electricity board is also making money because every day, 1 hour, I'm using the electricity, making sure. So all these people are making money at the cost of my tears. If their intellect was alert, you have put a stop. And that was something around some over 1,000 episodes. So that damage was happening, I don't know for how many years. 1,000 episodes means what? At least 3 years or 4 years? With all the advertisements and with all the weekend gaps and all that. So watch out, we are unconsciously taking in things which is not necessary. So simpler way we can handle our mind, calm our mind using our intellect. And then you see your own desires can be a stepping stone to reach your ultimate goal. Because the purpose of your existence is to realize yourself. That's the purpose of your existence. Not to come, take in more desires, and then end and get into another set of bundle of desires. That is not the purpose of your existence. The purpose is to exhaust the bundle of desires and reach the ultimate goal. So we can spend like 15 minutes if anybody has questions.
Thank you
Amazing
so
session.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm glad to know.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do we not strengthen the vasanas? Because of vasanas, we are acting. So how would I, that is a pattern, right? Vasana is a behavior. That's what I understood. Can you explain a bit
Vasanas
about
are not,
vasanas?
yeah,
Yeah.
vasanas are not your behavior. Vasanas are the root form of your desires. Like vasana, original meaning of vasana means fragrance, what you're made up of. What you're made up of. And then there's a detailed explanation about vasanas of Sanchita vasanas and Agami and etc. etc. I cannot go into that because it's a little deeper concept, but simpler definition of vasanas is your root form of your desires. So your actions are the end result of your vasanas. So there's a chronology of it. Vasana, desire, thought, and action is a chronology. We see an action and we are trying to say, repeatedly a girl is going and learning Bharatanatyam dance and reaches a stage where she is really performing well on the stage. So how do you assess that? You say, this girl has a vasana for dance because the chronology of action was followed by her of practicing for 10, 12 years. It takes a lot of years to beautifully perform on a stage. So the chronology of vasana, desire, thought, and action is being followed by that girl for which she has become a beautiful dancer. Is that clear, Raji?
Are we
Yeah.
born
So,
with vasanas?
Sorry, can I just complete with Raji? Sorry.
so this vasana is leading to our actions ultimately, right? Through desire.
Yeah.
So, again, my action can influence the vasanas because I'm dancing, because again, I'm strengthening this. Is there a
Yeah.
connection?
Yes, that's what the whole session I was trying to tell. It's not that you are born with certain set of desires or vasanas and you live with that and you die with that. It doesn't happen that way only. The chances of you increasing your vasanas, increasing your desires is very high. That's the reason I was telling you to check on the stimuli. Imagine you're born with a certain set and you'll die with a certain set. Then you don't need any watch on stimuli. We are like an animal. You're born with that ferocious set of desires of a tiger. They can't change. Tiger will never sit and contemplate. I think I've killed too many people. I think it's not right to kill. So they are born with a set of ferocious set of vasanas. They live that and they die. They exhaust that set of vasanas. But as human beings, you're born with a set of vasanas. You have the complete choice in our hands to exhaust that or multiply. That's why Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says, lift yourself by yourself. The choice is given in your hands. The intellect is what helps us to cut off all the desires or multiply it. The simpler form was check the stimuli that we are taking in, arrest the increase of desires. It's like a bacteria, it keeps increasing without our observation, without our vigilance. So that's the might of asanas. If we really understand, we'll be so cautious about it. We are not aware of it. Unfortunately, this has not been taught. What is the purpose of our life? Are we taught? No. Nobody teaches, unfortunately. In our schools, if we have this kind of an education, you're born to exhaust your desires. Have we taught our children? No. I was so fortunate that I got exposed to this knowledge very young. That's what actually helped me to go and take up to the study. I left my engineering and I went there. Only that something triggered. I can't say that I was like, wow, crystal clear, but something triggered that made me take up to the study. And something triggered to take up to this path. I've chosen not to have children so that my dedication is not distracted. Have a children, nothing wrong with having children. It's a beautiful experience, but you need to have that kind of a time and dedication to that child too. But I wanted to dedicate towards the study, propagation, serving the cause. So it's all one desire you entertain, your whole life is changed. That's the strength of your desire. You choose to be a vegan. You're not attracted to any kind of a junk or any kind of a sweet shop. Have you entered a sweet shop? Unless you're buying for somebody? Unless there's a vegan sweet shop. That's very rare. So that's a might of a desire. One strong desire you entertain and you give a direction to your life. But one strong, wrong desire you entertain, you are completely derailed. Completely derailed. How the young children are being taken towards training their mind to do something destructive. So there are so many examples which all proves it all. Now go back and reflect on all the points that I mentioned about the stimuli that we have to be very cautious about and give a direction to it. I'm not trying to frighten you about, oh, every stimuli is going to make a reaction and this is going to respond. No, it doesn't work that way. But it has its strong mind impressions. What you put into your children's thoughts in the early childhood remains for a long period of time unless they develop a strong intellect and dismiss all that, which is very, very challenging. If a parent has mistreated the child in their childhood, later in the life, the child, when they grow up, they'll go up and tell, you did not treat me well, or you did not teach me to be a good individual. For you always reacted in an angry way. That's what I have learned. You see all that. It's like a response is what you do. So many people curb their anger, curb their distractions, curb their desires, so that my child doesn't get whatever I am a victim to, right? You all must be all parents. You must have done a lot of sacrifices so that your child doesn't get into such kind of behavioral patterns, right? I remember my father used to say, please don't argue in front of children because they may learn that this is how you have to argue and fight. So that's how I teach every Sunday morning for teens and young adults on the Vedanta with the different topics. So it's very, very important what kind of thoughts you put into your childhood because they are shaping their desires and vasanas for their betterment. See, we need to know how to use our desires. How do we maneuver them? How do we use that to reduce many other unwanted desires or eradicate? Like one strong desire to be fit, to be healthy. has cut down so many junk eating, not going for parties, and like overnight, lot of indisciplined activities it has cut down, right? So fixing a higher desire and taking up to a higher vasanas within your realm is a solution to yoga for the mind. Otherwise, we may be doing the repeated activities. We are where we are. No growth. I heard something very interesting, but did you do anything on it? Did you act anything on it? No. Why should I act on it? Then you are a computer. You're a parrot. The information remained as information, not made any transformation. He had a question, I remember, sorry. It's written chat.
Anjana,
Sorry, go ahead.
Anjal, your question? You have to unmute, yeah.
I was just going on Raji's this thing. So, are we born with vasanas and then our intellect decides to, is it that way? As we mature?
Yes, each individual is born with a set of vasanas. Like a
Vasanas.
parent may have a twins, but both the twins could be diametrically opposite nature. How do you define? By the set of vasanas. What propels you to act or avoid an action? It's your vasanas. So you're born with that's the reason spiritual masters looked at human beings or any beings as nothing but a set of vasanas. Bundle of vasanas, they called it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what is propelling our action? What is making you to come and attend this session? Because you're interested to learn something, right? So that is propelled by your vasanas. If you did not have an interest in Vedanta and you had an interest only in doing the yoga part, you would not be here. So you had an interest to learn, oh, what is it about? Let me hear, let me learn. So it is driven, any action is driven by vasanas. That is how the chronology. Vasana, desire, thought, an action. That's a chronology of how an action is. We are only seeing the action and then we are trying to conclude. Even you go to a doctor saying, my stomach is upset. What will he ask?
What did you eat?
What did you eat? Where did you eat? When did you eat? Silly, simple questions. They are trying to trace back the root of it. Similarly, the root of your action is the vasana. That's the way.
Did you learn in Lonavala?
Yeah. Swami Parthasarathy.
Yeah. You know, his daughter was in my school, Sunanda.
Sunanda Ji. Okay.
Yeah.
He studied
I've
in
attended his sessions many times. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yes. I had the fortune of studying under him.
He still is at the academy?
Yes, he's at the Vedanta
Or
Academy.
he comes and goes?
No, he's mostly at the Vedanta Academy.
He's mostly there. Okay. Thank you. Lovely having this session from you. Thank you, Raji. Thank you.
Thank you. Have any more questions? We can take it up.
Any other questions?
I had one more question. You know, people always say that you have to do some activity before quietening your mind. What's your take on that?
Before you quieten mind, see, a person who is in the traffic jam. Imagine before you come to this lecture, you are in a traffic jam and you were really stuck, really stuck. Your state of mind is not relaxed. There's a little kind of an agitation or an unpleasantness going on in your thoughts. So, and then you run into the class because you're already late because of traffic jam. And then you try to do meditation. All the trauma of that, whatever you went through, is just hitting you back. So, what would be the best? You had traffic jam. But fortunately, you reached on 15 minutes before the event and you came down and you physically relaxed. Physically, you got your breathing to normal. And then mentally, you said, now I am interested to attend this event. Let me bring my thoughts towards this activity. So consciously, you are prepared for the session, right? So before the session, what is the thing you try to do? Calm your thoughts, calm your that rajasic state of body, you calmed it down. So you're able to absorb whatever the kind of activity or the lecture or the yoga that you are chosen to do. So when you said, do we need to do anything else before we calm down? Plan to be there. Be available to that activity. Then you see the same session really does wonders to you. Others may not feel, I've done this earlier, or nothing new, but you will say, no, I genuinely got benefited. It was very thought-provoking, or it really opened up my thoughts. Lots to take away because you were prepared. There are many points you must have heard earlier, but your preparedness for that event gets you benefit the most. That's the only thing. If you're not prepared and you're being forced, or you're gone through that kind of a little traffic or little stress before the whole thing, everything will just go over it. It won't do much. Like 15 minutes before the session, calm down, sit down, get your thoughts together. Think about what the topic could be. What are your thoughts about it? Think about it. And then when the session is happening, oh, this is an interesting way of looking at it. So it's like kindling of thoughts, exchange of kindle of thoughts. And then the absorption is more. There's a receipt, the reaction is also happening. Otherwise, receipt is happening, no reaction, no response. So the receipt is a useless receipt, which will vanish off in a span of a few hours. Oh yeah, really? Did I attend? And your other participant is saying, you were there in the event, right? Oh, did I? You question your own attendance. That's how.
Saritha ji,
Yes.
please go ahead. Who is asking?
This is
Alka.
Ramya here.
Ramya ji, yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna ji.
Can you please explain the ladder of fall for me once again?
The chronology of action. Okay. The chronology of action is vasana, desire, thought, and action. Vasana is the root form of your desire. And then, unless you have a desire, those thoughts will not go towards it. You don't have a desire for dance. Thoughts are not rushing towards dance. Then, if the thoughts are not rushing towards dance, you will not dance. Action will not happen. There could be a very big Sangeet happening. Everybody is dancing, but it doesn't make you dance. You are enjoying it. Yeah, it's nice, pleasant, very good, beautiful. But it's not going to make you think, I think I need to go learn dancing. Let me go join a class. My moves are not at all good. All that will not happen. So action is happening consistent basis is the root cause is vasanas, your desires.
Ma'am, please can you repeat vasana, then thoughts?
Vasana, desire, thoughts, and actions. That's a chronology.
Okay.
Unless you have a desire, thoughts don't rush to that object or world. The world is offering so many things, right? Are we like everywhere? Are we a doctor, engineer, aeroscientist, or you're in the Navy? We can't be everywhere, right? So there is something which is, we are one kind of a profession that we all go towards. So wherever is a strong desire, you take it up and you become that.
Just to add that flipping the newspaper ad analogy is really stuck. Unless you have a vasana, you will not go towards the Carnatic concert,
Yeah.
which ma'am explained in the very beginning. I think we can keep that in mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a very
Raj.
simpler way of like looking at on a day-to-day how stimuli is working on ourselves. And that is one of the ways you even observe your child. How do you observe otherwise? You're observing only to guide them, not to police them. It may look like the child will say, "What are you constantly policing me?" But you don't want your child to get derailed. So you're observing, oh, this constantly checking on some kind of a music band. Let me at least find out what their child is listening to. Is there abusing words, or what are the kind of words? They don't realize just because their friends are following it, they start following. And they start talking that foul language. And it becomes a habit. I said, why are you talking like that? But in that music band, that guy was talking, and he's a music icon. If he can talk, why can't I talk? They're always ready with questions. So that is what the reason why we need to check. When you see aroma or a smell, when you feel a smell, when you enter a house, a person may look at it as agarbatti. Thought association is divinity, divine thoughts. Another will look at it as perfume. What are the things? Lustful thoughts. Everything has a thing which traces us back. A finer vasanas makes them look at it also in a very different way. Grosser vasanas, which is mundane, worldly vasanas, makes them look only at it as vulgar, immature, very grosser way. So the vasanas that we hold also matters. The desires that we hold also matters. There are certain kind of literature, books, authors. Vicar of Wakefield, I don't know if anybody heard it or read it. In that, the language he uses, he's actually ridiculing another person. But it's so beautiful that we don't even understand that he is actually humiliating. That's the beauty of the literature language. We need to put in effort to understand what is he trying to say. When we understand it, it's actually like he's actually humiliating another person. So that's what it is, the finer the vasanas we have, we only look at the same experience differently. So we are always driven through the lens of our vasanas. Is there another question by Mr. Raj?
Ma'am, can
Uh,
I ask a question?
Okay, fine.
I'll
Go
cut
ahead.
this side. Okay. Ma'am, vasana and desire, these two are same, or it is like conscious mind and subconscious mind?
See, the root form of the desires is vasanas. Like the
Okay.
literal word meaning of vasanas is fragrance, or the stuff that you're made up of. The root of desires is vasanas.
Okay.
Desires is a
Okay.
simpler way of looking at it. That's the reason they have put that vasanas above and then the desires. Unless you have a vasana for something, the desires will not come. That's the second step.
Okay.
That's nothing.
Vasana is our sanskara, what we have with us by birth.
No. Sanskara is
No?
different, madam. Vasana is the root form of your existence. Means you are, Alkaji is nothing but a bundle of vasanas. You are alive and you're functioning with your set of vasanas. In a simpler way, your set of desires.
Okay.
Okay. Normally samskara is equated to positive, but actually samskara could be negative also. It's a negative samskara is brought up with. So we are not just discussing about negative or positive samskara. We are discussing about what is the desires. What is the vasanas? So the vasanas are the root form of the desires.
Desires.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, please can you
you have to unmute yourself.
Ma'am, please can you like keep a session in further meetings on like false ego? False ego.
Sure, definitely. We have weekly lectures
Yes.
going on every Wednesday on general topics, on every Saturday evening on Bhagavad Gita. So tomorrow it is on self-control from chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. Those two lectures are conducted by my husband and colleague Sreedharan Ji. You're welcome to Raj, you can share. But definitely I'm quite open to do the sessions in the future.
Thank you,
With
ma'am.
Raj.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alka.
Thank you.
Seema, 1 second. Let's ask Raj to ask his question. He has been raising hand. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Raj.
So much for the wonderful session. So the vasanas that we spoke about, right? How many births we are carrying this vasana in this birth? So that, a person wants to be a musician in 3 births, he could not attain it. So the moment he was born, in 8 years, he become a child prodigy, musician, something like that. So are we carrying from a long time? And then we were born to achieve certain things.
Yeah, see, if you have to, I'll ask a simple question to you. 2023, June 28th today, right? Today, 28th, June 28th, 2023. What dress were you wearing?
No.
Don't remember. Naturally, you will not remember because you are not wearing everyday same dress. Naturally, you don't remember. June 2023, 28th, what food did you eat?
No.
We don't remember. Naturally, you don't remember. So things that we are doing on a daily basis, if we cannot remember, how is it that we can say, this many births, that birth I did this, so this birth I'm doing this? Nobody can tell that, right? And if anybody says that, don't believe. The way we are made up in the Bhagavad Gita, there's a portion which explains about that we are gifted with this forgetfulness. It's a part of our make. So we are not meant to remember everything that is happening or every experience that is happening in our life. Forget about last births. In the Hindu, the philosophy, they explain about, they don't prove it, but they have explained about the previous births only with a connection that you're born with this kind of a strong interest to some particular activity like the dance. You could have done some work. You could have done some effort in the previous form. They don't even say birth. They say previous form that led you to no distracted efforts towards this dance now. Otherwise, Adi Shankaracharya, at the age of 7, he spoke such profound knowledge. How is it I'm not able to speak like that? How is he different? So it's always past when they say it could be this moment past. Now that could be towards your past births in whatever form. They never said human form alone. So the vasanas are always carried forward. Unexhausted vasanas are always carried forward. And the momentum that you had created in the past which needed expression now takes that form. Imagine there's a momentum in the previous form, couldn't satisfy, couldn't exhaust, needed a form. So then it takes a form to exhaust now. So that's why you see at the age of 5, 6, they're able to perform effortlessly. They don't need momentum. They're not distracted. They are so good in whatever they take up, or those vasanas are propelling them to act. So this is a kind of a logical understanding they have given, because the concept of reincarnation is not defined as a law, it is defined as a theory of reincarnation. They have never said law, they said law of karma, but reincarnation is defined as theory of reincarnation, and the theory is also concluded with a logical kind of a analysis. There was a logical analysis of calculations. You see an action and you try and infer. You see a fire and you infer. You see a smoke, you see a smoke and you infer there could have been a fire. Without the fire, there can be no smoke, right? Now you equate it to that example that you quoted. A child is performing very well, or child is so proficient in explaining the philosophy which even a 70-year-old adult is struggling to understand. How? So this is a intelligent correlation they have done. It's quite a deeper concept about vasanas, but since the topic of the lecture was yoga for the mind, and mind is only handling your desires, so I had to bring it up. So that my concern to Raji was like, the set of people are all yoga session people. My concern is that they should be tuned into the philosophy part, which is a little bit training. It's not that we are not fit. You need to be trained to think. I had to build up so much to on this concept to explain the word vasanas. Still, a lot of questions will come, but natural. But it's essential to build our interest towards understanding a concept. Otherwise, we can be totally confused. And we'll say, we will conclude by wrong understandings. That's the thing.
You can consider this group as a very curious group, always, willing to explore and go beyond. So this group, we want to invite you more and more and learn,
Yes, I'm always
we have
available.
few more questions. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Seema, go next. Yeah.
Saritha ji, I wanted to know, you said this vasana, desire, thought, and action. So where can you put ambition? Like every person may be having his or her ambition. So where can you put this ambition? It's a desire, vasana, or it's a thought?
Giving a direction to your desire is ambition or a goal.
Yeah.
No, a desire can be negative, positive, both.
Yes.
Right? A desire which is led by your intellect, governed by your intellect, is ambition. A desire which is governed by your mind's whims and fancies of likes and dislikes can be distraction. So, when your intellect is governing your desire, it's ambition, goal. Otherwise, distraction. Nowhere near goal we are. It's only we are distracted. Before even you started your work towards your goal, you're distracted. You have not even started, but already you're distracted. That is mind-led.
Okay.
Sure. Kavita ji, yeah, Kavita.
Ma'am, according to our vasana, we are developing and we are manifesting it in action. Once it is done, it means that the vasana will go away from us, or it will vanish, or
for a desire to get exhausted is a humongous process. But it's like when you bought a new handbag, which you loved it, can you say, I purchased a handbag, I'm exhausted with the desire for handbags? No, no. So what you can do, I need to get over this desire. So how do I handle? Maybe I will choose to not buy any cheap handbag. I will buy a nice non-leather, a nice brand handbag, which I'll stick to it, I'll use to it. So your distraction of buying anything cheap or anything that comes your way or sale bags, all the desires will fall off, right? By buying that handbag doesn't mean that your desire is exhausted. For you to exhaust the desire, your intellect's intervention of growing above the desire has to be there. So it doesn't happen that way. That means you are like finished your desires like that, right? In the process, you may upgrade your desire. Now that I bought this handbag, let me save more and buy a better brand. So we are never exhausting. We are constantly in the process of upgrading. Nothing wrong with upgrading. But is that become like a habit of upgrading? That is
So
what
only our intellect helps us to exhaust or reduce our desires, right? Is that way?
intellect will guide us, help us, escort us till we exhaust the desire. For that, the knowledge that we have taken in contemplation, reflection, like, how will the cow digest the food? It sits and cut chews, right? That part is what we're talking about, reflection. Take the points, reflect on whatever is being communicated. Does it make sense? How can I apply it in my life? How can I handle my stimuli? How can I check on what kind of reactions that is happening to me? Maybe the stimuli was fantastic. I saw something really, really educative, but the reaction and response was not that good. It didn't really make a difference. So attend to those two parts. How do I make my reaction and response the best suitable for me? Because you chose to take that receipt.
Yeah.
The reaction and response can only happen when I go and think on how do I implement. Then you are working on your vasanas, your desires. You're giving a direction to it. See, the human development as far as vasanas is equated to like a pyramid. We are like a bed of vasanas. The bottom is called the bed of vasanas, right? Which is like a bundle. Now, as you take up to ambition, aim, give a direction to your desires slowly, slowly, slowly start reducing. And the number of desires, which were like a bundle, reduces and reduces and reduces and reduces. So you're moving towards very few set of desires, which is also only for the self-realization. That is the purpose of your existence. That is very few set or towards that. And at that time, what is the path that is suggested? Meditation. At that time. Till then, we all are doing mind calming, which is fantastic. Continue to do that. Get your thoughts to mind relaxation. If your mind is not calm, how can you concentrate? It's essential. But understand the desires is what is actually not allowing us to relax, not allowing us to concentrate. So that's how the pyramid of self-development works. Bed of vasanas, the lesser and lesser and lesser vasanas or desires that you're holding on to, your growth.
Thank you.
Shobhaji. You need to unmute.
Shobhaji, you have to unmute.
Which means the so-called bad vasanas, can they be diluted and removed? Which means
Yes.
it does.
Human beings have that capacity. That's a gift we have.
Okay.
See, the animals, as I explained, a tiger is born ferocious, they live ferocious, they die ferocious because they are born with that pattern. They don't have the capacity to sit and contemplate. They do not have intellect. All they have is a rudimentary mind which differentiates between a food and a dirt, master and a stranger. So it's like rudimentary what is being suggested that they are born with. So human beings, when you see that stimuli which is coming in, you feel that stimuli is going to damage me if I continue this. Arrest that. You don't allow it to become a
So,
desire.
so which means that you have to improve on your intellect to
Yes,
dilute the bad.
you have to improve on intellect, work on your intellect. The buddhi is what actually, only thing that saves us is our buddhi. Otherwise, we are a victim to our mind, which naturally does its activities. Do you need to sit and develop the likes and dislikes? Naturally, it comes, no? The mind's work, whatever the mind does. Anger. Do you need to sit and develop anger? Naturally, it will come. Somebody said something, naturally, it will come. To have a control on the way you react to that impulse, you need your intellect. You need to step back and say, oh, I can't afford to say that. It could be your staff in your house or your boss. I cannot afford to say that. So you need to learn to use your anger. You need to learn to use your emotions. So all that is a work of our intellect. If somebody has really been very successful in their work, that one role of their life, they have been very successful. They have used their buddhi in that area of discretion, decision making, judgment. So that role, they were very good. Does everybody who studied in that classroom becomes a CEO? Both of them, all of them were graduates of the same classroom. Not everybody becomes an entrepreneur. It's that buddhi in them which helps them to choose the knowledge, whatever they have, and rationalize and discreet and not get distracted. So many things of discipline. So that is either you consciously follow or unconsciously. Consciously, when you follow, you don't need to. It's like you gain through others' knowledge, or you want to gain through your own knowledge. Means what? To understand that substance abuse is not good for you. How do you say that? I don't believe it. So what you want to do? You want to try it, test it, demolish your life, and then understand, oh, substance abuse is not good for me. So the same thing, somebody else have gone through it, tested it, and then they come to a conclusion, it's not good for you. You can learn from their intellect and their knowledge and get benefited. So that's the power of your intellect. You don't need to go through that experience to learn. You can learn from others' experience. That is others' intellect. Like I gained that knowledge through my guru's intellect, development of intellect. You are trying to gather some information through my development of whatever the intellect that I have. So that's how it is. You get benefited with your intellect. Till the time your intellect is developed, we keep taking the help of scriptures, your gurus, your masters, or the elders who have gained that suzerainty. That's how it works.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Just a request, whoever is in Abu Dhabi, Saritha ma'am and her husband, Sreedharan Ji, they come to Hamdan Street, the building. I will share the details. This Sunday, June 30th, 10 o'clock, they are there. So please do attend. I brought my husband. I don't know how he will sit through and all. I was skeptical, but he said, let's make it, let's attend every time. So come with your family, come with an open mind. If you understood today's lecture, you're going to enjoy, learn a lot more with Atma Bodha. Atma Bodha is knowledge of self. I mean, Saritha ji can talk a bit about it. So that is one program that is live in Abu Dhabi, and they conduct Bhagavad Gita lectures and daily lectures. I have sent you in the announcement channel, I have put all the details. Today I'll be sharing in the group. So you can, if you're free that time, please attend online lectures live, and also YouTube channel is there. And for your kids, every Sunday again there is a lecture. My daughter, I just said, you have to, now you are 13, you have to give it a try. And then she was so participative. She came back and said, I learned something about decision making. She couldn't entirely explain what she learned, but that spark has been triggered. So I felt so grateful. So I request all of you to, go through all these timings and lectures and see how much you can attend. Today's lecture only, we are all like filled with so much,
Information.
information and motivation to lead a better life. The seeking in us, it's sparkled. So over to you, Saritha ji, if you want to say a few words about your upcoming programs.
Yeah. So in a week, we have like around 5 lectures. That is every Saturday evening, 6 p.m. UAE time is on the Bhagavad Gita. It's in the initial part, that is in the chapter 2 of it. It's fantastic for anybody to start soon. It's also on Zoom and in physical. We do once a month in the Hindu temple in Dubai. So tomorrow it's in the Hindu temple, and the topic is practice self-control. It is on the chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, the crucial part of the Bhagavad Gita, practice self-control. It's on Zoom. And twice at least we're trying to come to Abu Dhabi, which she said on Sunday morning. Wednesday evening is again, it's on a general topics. Every week it's on general topics. So that is one. And Tuesday mornings I conduct 6 a.m. Dubai time and 7:30 India time. That is on the book Vedanta Treatise. We are in the last chapter, the aphorisms, which is challenging again to get it, but you all can join. If it suits you all, we'll join. I can share the details with Raji. We have all the details put up, information. You can join any of them. Everything is streamed on Zoom. Only the one in Abu Dhabi on Sunday, I don't stream it on Zoom. I suggest people to come because we come all the way from Dubai, so that at least they physically come and then attend. But other lectures are all on Zoom too. And we have a YouTube channel where we have put in a lot of effort on offering the practical application of the philosophy. See, it may look very theoretical if we keep hearing the philosophy part, but how do I apply it in my life? So that's the effort we have put in our channel, the Mind and Intellect channel. I'll share the information. It has over 280 videos and many short videos. So they are like very thought-provoking. You could have a look at that. So this is a short explanation about our activity. You're welcome to attend tomorrow, day after, and the coming sessions.
Yeah. So please, I will share all the links. So there is also a WhatsApp channel that you can subscribe, and so you get everything, all the Zoom details, everything you get it. So it's so easy. Everything is smooth. So, and we want to invite you. It is just that I'm very selfish. I want to learn more and I need more of your personal time. So
Well,
we will, I think we are taking a break from these sessions starting from July and August. So
yeah.
from September, if all of us, vote for it, maybe monthly once we can bring Saritha ji, maybe the second Friday or the last Friday or something, and we will get into, you can post the topics that you want clarity, and I'm
Yeah.
sure she is an ocean of knowledge. So we can, whatever we can take it from her, it's our pleasure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also have
So
a look at my blog. It's called Wise Vegan Life. Raji has all that. So that's the other interest that I was mentioning about the vegan page. And
yeah.
Dr. Nandita also had given a forward for my cookbook that I published 2 years ago. It's an e-book, so my blog has everything, the information. I have a website, etc. So that's another interest that I gave a direction to my desires. I should say that. Didn't want it to
Yeah.
dilute too much. A desire which is going to be in sync with Vedanta. It's like for the body, for the development of intellect is Vedanta. So I try to take up a desire which is in sync with our life. Otherwise, if I take up some other art, as I was telling, naturally the desires may go towards it, but we need to give a direction to it, was the point. Yeah.
I would
Raji,
also
please
like
share.
to hear about your plant-based journey, because some of us are completely like whole
Vegans.
food plant-based. Some are on the fence trying to figure out, should I turn vegan? Why should I turn vegan? So, I would like to hear your story, your perspective, and because that was my entry point
Correct.
to you. So I would like
We
to
had a
learn
long
more.
discussion on that. So I,
We can.
I firstly got introduced to this term called vegan through my guru, Swamiji. He always followed this principle of not preaching and just living up. He never tells, go do it. You go sit and do that or join this. He always lived whatever the principles that he want others to also follow. So he became vegan like around 15, 16 years ago. That really made me think. And I was a born vegetarian. To transition towards vegan is little challenge, but we need to know how to handle it. And I wanted to learn the scientific reasons behind it and how do we handle it. So 9 years ago, also Dr. Nandita visits Vedanta Academy and she attended Swamiji's lectures. And I did attend her session. But the natural interest that I had towards creating whole food plant-based or the recipes was always there. And then out of compulsion, people opened that page for me where I should document all the work that I do and all that. It went up to such a stage where one of our entrepreneurs saw my handle and he said, you have to publish a book. Then before I publish a book, I wanted to do a nutrition course. I chose the whole food plant-based nutrition course from Cornell. I did that, studied that. And then I published the book. The whole book has a Western cuisine of 100 recipes, but I didn't want to like take images from online and post it. So the whole effort of doing whatever they see the recipe, if they follow the method, the food will look exactly like that. But fortunately, because of the training of Vedanta, I could simplify the cookbook. Many times when I used to see any cookbooks, it's like so much of information, so much they write, and it used to like never interest me. I had to create things on my own was always my thought process. So in my cookbook, I tried to simplify the effort, make it like divisions and categories of how a recipe could be done. So that was the efforts which were directed towards the publishing of book. Many books I wish to do, but it's generally little impractical being in Dubai to print, etc., and store and stock all that. But if there is a publisher who wishes to take it up, I don't mind. That has been my journey. So the blogging, everything. That's the reason I specified or described myself as a spiritual vegan because of I directed my desire towards as a stepping stone. How your swadharma, your nature, could be nurtured and used for your own self-development. So that was my journey of why I became a vegan. Initially, even Swamiji was a little concerned. I said, "What is it that you have taken up to? Are you doing catering?" It's like, "No, I'm not doing catering. I'm not into all that." Many people say, "Why don't you start businesses? We will fund it. Why don't you start restaurants? We'll do." I said, "No, that's not my interest. I'm ready to help anybody." And then directed towards the nutrition course and authoring the book. So that was a little journey. And it may look very challenging for people who are thinking to go vegan. It is only replacing it. You're not giving up, you're only replacing it. So you actually eat more varieties, more nutritious, more tastier food now. You get to taste every vegetable in its original form. Earlier, many things would have been tasted similar. So that's a little short brief about what I have been through the journey of veganism.
Thank you so much, Saritha ji. We will have a full lecture scheduled on this sometime. So I hope this encourages people. The veganism, it's a very, for me, it is an extension of yogic life. I mean, it's integrated. You can't talk about yoga, and ahimsa is the first step. And then it was very natural when I connected yoga and plant-based nutrition and the science that whole body can heal on its own. People have healed cancer, come out of heart disease just by changing the food. So that's the connection, and I could relate everything what Saritha ji was saying.
Yeah.
So, any question, Anju? You were saying something?
No. I'm totally inspired. No words. Thank you so much, Raji. You keep bringing such amazing personalities in our lives. Really
It's
appreciate it.
just a divine blessing. I somehow
Divine. Yeah.
landed on a podcast and I was listening to that voice. Then I went through the cookbook. Then I saw Dr. Nandita's forward. I'm like, who is this personality in the Vedanta world? Because in
Wow.
yoga, anywhere I go, there is always this dairy and buttermilk. It's suggested as part of
Yeah.
sattvic diet. So to see a vegan spiritual person, I was so touched.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Amazing.
much.
I always knew Parthasarathy ji was vegan. So it always, like when these two combine, it's something so amazing.
True.
Spirituality
Totally.
and veganism. Yeah.
And the best part is he turned at 85, I believe, right? In his 80s, he turned.
In his
That shows
80s.
his, sorry?
Yes.
In his mid-80s, he had turned, and now he's 97. So I think it is like when he was 83 or 82, like that, he turned. That's the reason initially when I
Yeah.
started, I said, right, Swamiji's statement that no one can beat me as a student, that sentence always inspired me. So age is never a limit. One can change, one
Yes.
can adopt, one can change the whole pattern of the way they function and think at any age if they are determined to do. If they're open-minded to do, they can change at any time. Swamiji's wife, at the age of 80 or 78 or something, she went to learn swimming. I'm like, I'm admired. At this age, you were going to go learn swimming. It's like, doesn't matter. That's how you should be. So when they live up such and certain values, it's so inspiring. It's so inspiring. They communicate more by the way they live rather than they speak.
And I've always admired how erect he is.
Yes, fit, erect, and the way.
At this age. Yeah.
Yes.
And like direct, he will not go dilly-dallying about anything. He's like straight to the
Straight to the point.
Amazing.
Yes, straight to the point. And you're very clear what you're going to get.
Mm.
And it needs a lot of strength to be that way, because
Yes.
when you're in the public front like that, many times it's very, very challenging for anybody to be straightforward. It takes a lot of guts and determination to stand with our values. Otherwise, everybody else around us tell us, oh, don't talk like this, don't sit like this, you can't, please, these are sentences, you can't talk in this land. You're asking me to talk, I will talk what I know. So Ajay always used to say, this is what I know, I will only speak like this. Of course, very mindfully he used to say, but what he always lived was a life of determined kind of a thought process. So,
And
great.
thank you. I got the book last Sunday when the complete works of Swami Parthasarathy. It has all the 12 book collection. So if you're interested, you can, invest. As Sir mentioned, it's an investment. So I've been reading it and so much I've been learning. So
Yeah.
anyone
And
interested, let me know. And yeah.
he has written the books only in the Brahma Muhurta time, that is 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. And the number of years, over 60 years of his hard work. 60 years of his hard work is in the books. And the most important thing that he's offered was in the books and the Vedanta Academy where he trains the youngsters. If it's not possible practically to go and study in the Vedanta Academy, at least you have the books where we can read, and then that becomes your material for you to think and contemplate. When I keep telling about developing your intellect, how do we develop? You need the material, right? You need information to think on. So that is what his contribution was. Scriptures. And made it practical. That's the main thing. So we can discuss about the sessions in September, and then we'll see what is best. Maybe we can start a text or something if you want it like a regular basis, and then it'll have a continuity in it. When there's a text, there is a continuity to the sessions. So we can schedule this session, and then we can keep it open for anybody wishes to join.
Yeah, sure.
That'll be great, yeah.
We will discuss. But I want all of you to start with the existing sessions. That's, Bhagavad Gita is very, very good. And it's Saturday evening, so you can attend with your family, you know. And Sunday, hope to see some of you in the session. So we will start with that, and then we will discuss and come up how to take this forward. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Because
you.
When Saritha ma'am expressed a doubt initially, will the students be interested? Because this is little heavy topic. I said, let's have let's give it a try. Even I'm not sure how many of you would be interested to, it's slightly theoretical and you need that inner tuning for this. And so I'm so grateful for this group. You're so receptive.
Our desire, Raji, our desire was strong.
Yeah. So I feel very gifted.
The higher goal. Yes.
I found a teacher and I have a bunch of students with me. So the classroom is set. So now the knowledge will reach us. Yeah. Thank you, Saritha ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We will see you all soon. Hari Om.
Yeah. Hari Om. Thank you.
So,
you.